What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fortnite video. So, I've decided that Fortnite and Starfield are going to be the two games I play. So Minecraft and Medieval Dynasty are going to take a break for a while, at least on my channel. Um, but yeah, that's news for the channel, I guess. A little bit of news. Um, this video is going to be about Mega Base Kyle, how I use him, but it's going to more so be about uh, trap tunnels, base defense, and in this case specifically, since I don't have any other endurance built other than my Plankerton, I don't. I don't. What is it? I don't do endurances for Twine, but all my other endurances are done. Um, I ain't do my endurance for Twine because, as far as I know, it may be a myth or it may be just rumors I've heard. But if you do the endurance, your wargame enemies are going to be higher, and I want my wargame enemies to be as low as possible because when I do a wargame, they're going to be low power level, and for me, since I help people not necessarily super often, but from time to time I help people with their Storm King quest, and if it's your first time doing the Storm King, it's going to have you kill mini bosses, right? So if I encounter someone who needs that help, I have low level mini bosses that count in a 140 zone because my Twine base is technically maxed out. I did all the defenses for it, so it's at 10. The enemies are 140. But if I start a war game, the enemies are low, like 30 to 50 is usually how low they are, but they still count as enemies in a 140 zone. So that's why I decided to keep my endurance, uh, or keep from doing my endurance rather, so I could have low enemies. So I'm gonna show you my Mega Base Kyle setup. This is strictly for recycling. So all the other characters basically it doesn't matter. All you really need is Mega Base Kyle and recycling. Recycling should be a default perk as far as I know that you get just for having a constructor. If not, then I don't remember where you get it from. I know with Mega Base Kyle, when you get him, you unlock the supercharged trap team perk. Team perk. But yeah, I use him just for the extra range and connectivity. But I'm gonna show you a bit more like trap tunnel building or trap placements and things like that of that nature. You know what I mean? Uh, Base defense. On the other hand, I probably won't show you too much since I won't be using, at least in the case of right now, I'm not going to be using a base setup that would defend an objective. This is going to be like I'm going to put my base down in farm materials while I start an endurance and explain what traps do what and why I've done what. But I'll do a little bit of explaining before I start it, so that it's not just me trying to talk about how things are working while enemies are attacking. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna use Mega Base Kyle for the connectivity for recycling, obviously, and then I'll show you guys well, as we load it. And I'll talk. I'll show you guys as well my sort of recycling pyramid that I have and explain its dimensions just in case you want to build it in your home base and you want to farm materials as well. It's pretty easy for Plankerton and as well as most other endurances. They're no longer something you could AFK. You probably could, but thus far I haven't found a way to do that. I forgot to plug in my controller. I was about to move the controls on it, but I remembered it's not plugged in. Okay. So, yeah, because on the I don't know if it's on every wave. I believe it's the 16th or 17th wave. Tornado comes in, and the tornado usually only affects like C, my C area. It affects all this area. It goes back up into that trap over there, and comes back down and goes to like right there. That last stair piece. I did make some revisions to my Plankerton defense. I don't even know if I showed it off honestly. Uh, but before I go show off everything else, I'm gonna give you guys a quick like dimension reading. So this would be a corner, right? And you would count this as one, going in either direction. Count this as one. You go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I believe when I put my base up there, the corners are excluded. I don't know if it's every corner. It's not something I generally pay attention to. I just put it down and it does it, but it's gonna be a 7 by you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's gonna be a 7 by 7. So a 7 by 7 around, and then on the first one inside, in any corner, like you can say right here, you go one in and up, and then you can go one in and up, and you could do that before you even to start. You're gonna go up 3 times. Once being your ground floor or your bottom floor. Once, twice, 3 times, and that's it. Your base can go up here. Your base can go just under it. That's why I have it open. And your base could go at the bottom. In my case, it varies. Like if you want more metal than any other material, you can go to the bottom. Since this is all made of metal, you can go one up, all made of stone, so you can get more stone and wood. Putting it in the center will probably get you a lot less wood, but I have wood underneath my setup because the connectivity actually branches down, which means some of those walls you see, these arch walls, get connected. So it's a 7 by 7. You go up 3, including the bottom floor, 1, 2, 3. You could go up one higher, and you could push this higher, or you could put you could put your base up here as well. And then I think it definitely does exclude the corners when you put it way up here. But it varies. You're gonna go higher. So under this triangle is metal. Under all these triangles is metal. These are all arches in every way, all around arches. And then you go up. Under these pyramids is stone, all stone. All those are stone arches all around. Now I made this ramp going down just so when I place my base here and I collect materials, let's say I collected, I hit 5,000. I'm gonna go over 5,000, maybe by like 50 or so. It depends how much materials you already have in your inventory. But once you collect it and you're in home base by yourself, the materials disappear rather quickly. So you'd collect the materials, you run, and you can slide down, spin around, go to your computer and put your resources in there, and then try to run back up and get them. If you are quick enough, then you can get them. You're gonna do it super fast, but obviously there's a bit of rush to it, so you're gonna want to run and get it. One of the revisions I made is over there. That area over there is sort of revision. I used to have it branched out and over, probably to like right there, and then that way across. And I had that, basically just where the enemies with propane tanks. So I changed it. I added all this stuff in here, all this, and I have this wall here. You're gonna see in a minute. I have this wall here, with traps across here. One of the problems I run into is enemies like to smack. I believe it's this wall and or this wall, because I have nothing on the other side for them to stop them from going around and hitting C. One thing that does happen, and it's kind of booty, that happens is the enemies when they spawn here, you get lobbers and flingers, and they'll just walk over here and stand here and throw, or they'll just jump off and they'll throw, which is just as bad, if not worse. I have the same kind of setup here, except the ramps are rotated towards their spawn, since they spawn right down there, and the enemies also spawn right over there. But that's just for B. I said C. for B. And now they could break through this wall, but there's a slope that goes up, so it's not like, if they do, it's not really going to benefit them anymore. Uh, you're probably wondering why I put a wall launcher right here, because uh, what I noticed is some enemies, if we get flingers, they'll kind of just walk down here and maybe about like there, and they'll just throw enemies. So if an enemy lands up here, of course, the first attack won't break the floor, but they will get pushed off. And then I have traps down here that can kill them, so just in case they get to it. Now I know I don't need anti-airs on this. I do have them because one of the war game events, while you're doing endurance, goes off, or actually every time you do endurance, a war game, uh, a war game modifier, you can say, goes off. One of them is the at least in this case, is the meteor strikes, and it's just a bunch of meteors that fall from the sky and they attack your base. So I have a bunch of these just so I can not have to worry about that. The only one I really have to worry about is the big one. The big one that spawns. This was another revision I made. Is right over here. I used to have this platform. I used to have a platform, that went from here all the way over and covered all of this. But the small enemies, if you put a floor right here, the small enemies would get stuck right here, and they would end up just going underneath, even on this side as well. Since you can't really place too many floors like this, since they spawn like all along here, they will destroy these, and they will end up like getting caught and end up going under, which is kind of bad. So I just decided to go back to how I originally had it, which was kind of like this, minus the arches. It was kind of just hanging like this. Tar pits for smashers. A lot more tar pits for smashers, since you want to slow them. You want to do as much damage as you can. I have all these sound walls, minus these two. These walls have broadsides, and the broadsides have heels attached, because previously, as you can see, this from here to there was walled off, and there was a platform above here, so they couldn't get down here. But if they did, I had these on here that would distract them or make them dance, and if they attacked it, then the trap on the other side would heal the wall. Since it was only like small guys and the thinner guys that would really get through. Now this area, because of all my seething electric fields, this area I don't have to worry about at all. The traps, the wall darts, and everything else, they do enough damage for me to not have to worry about it. And this one was not a redesign. This one was one I just kind of threw together. It works pretty well. Occasionally, you do have to change the traps. Obviously, they come in here, they're going to get hit by this and this one. More often than not, they're also going to get pushed back and then pushed back. Unless they spawn up here, then they'll get pushed towards it. In which case, they'll either land about here and get hit by that. But, I'm going to do this as well, actually, now that I'm here. I'm going to do this. Okay, because I think they shouldn't be able to, they shouldn't be able to jump onto it. I know it's kind of close, but it's not close enough for them to. Oh, maybe they could, but usually they fall off pretty. I could also just put walls like this, and then that'll prevent them from falling onto it. They'll just hit it and fall off. Okay, yeah, they don't get stuck under these either. There's a slope here, which you can see there's traps right there as well. There's a slope here, but they don't get stuck on here, so that's, fine. I didn't want to use the slope and send them that way, since it would be hard to put traps on these. Since you can't even build. If we had a better building system in this game, then it probably would be, but you can't. And this is basically just a hallway, funnels them this way into a hallway, and they die before they ever reach this area. But They die a lot around here in this first bend, and they never usually get past the first bend. Unless they're like smashers or something, then they can get by. Okay. Sorry, I'm crouched. As you guys are aware, I'm sick as hell, and I get into coughing fits. It's not super bad, but it kind of sucks. So yeah, I'm dealing with that. Um, A wasn't revised. They basically just spawned over by that amplifier or the shadow amplifier, I guess. They spawn over there and just walk up and in. Um, for amplifier A, we do get a mini boss. It's a random mini boss. It kind of sucks, but later in the waves, there's always a mini boss or two. So, damn, it's really hard to. It's really hard to speak. So if you hear me all grumbly, nasty, then I'm sorry. It's just I'm trying to get this video out. So, this is also a revision. We used to get a bunch of enemies that would stand here and throw stuff, which is really bad. So previously, I had blocked from this edge all the way down to this edge with the walls and stairs, so they wouldn't, stand here and throw stuff. But I changed it and decided to put, cones and walls and a bunch of these traps. So if they do try to stand here, they'll die, hopefully. And I have these so that they don't stand here and just throw stuff. And I have traps down there just in case they want to go around and, not deal with the traps, or they don't die to the traps. They'll fall in there, take damage, hopefully die pretty quickly. That could be covered with whatever, since they're not even going to attack that. Oh, I just realized I could do this as well. Oh, can I? Trying to figure out a way to. Yeah, there we go. I gotta craft them. I got low level traps. So I was doing low level missions, helping a friend out with a quest of his. Okay, yeah, I want that there because the trap can do damage through the staircase, and so now I don't have to worry too much about enemies just breaking through the defense right there. Since they may go for it, it's in the corner because I couldn't put a wall there. Just build didn't let me, and it's under the staircase, so it's bad to have them under all these traps. This was a redesign. It goes down here. It goes down the slope. So you can't put traps on the slope. We already know that. And it would just be this long hallway. And the enemies would just get through it pretty easily, which is kind of sucky. But, they would. You guys don't have to build your bases like mine. Obviously, you can build it however you like. I have a bunch of sound walls here. I know they're going to go off at the same time, which is probably defeats the purpose. But what I really want to avoid is enemies with propane tanks. Those ones are the worst. And having them dance makes them drop their propane tank. So I have that there for that. You'll see it in a bunch of places. I think over there was the whole... Oh, no, it's on E. We'll show E as well since I... Ooh. Since I redid my E as well. So for E, what I did was I pulled it back one floor. So I added a floor and then made this ramp. Because there was another slope, just like the last one. There was a slope, I think here maybe. There's a slope and it went down. So I built a ramp up. Okay, I need to put traps on those. I think I put them after the fact. But again, I want all these sound walls so we don't have to worry about propane tanks being thrown. That's why I have sound walls there, sound walls there. Try to do my best to dang, try to do my best to stop them from throwing as much, because they just, even with the ceiling electrics, when they get low health, they decide to just blow themselves up, which is kind of crappy. I changed this a little bit. Obviously, I added a bunch, a bunch more sound walls and stuff. This one always had more sound walls. It's just to prevent the enemies from throwing stuff. Let's see. This was never changed. This is still the same. I blocked this off since might as well just block it off and build a long trap tunnel over here. This one usually gets ravaged by the freaking tornado. Tornado will sweep past here and go down the ramp. As I said, it'll go up to there. It'll take out these. I should change these over to a different material type. But I haven't. And again, they all have a bunch of, they all have a bunch of anti-airs because of the meteors. They drop here, like specifically on this amplifier. So I have a good amount here. It's also for any enemy that decides to throw, which I'm thinking about it, I should probably close these rather than have them open so they don't throw through it. My thought process was kind of have it closed so that they can throw through and stand in one place and die to the traps. But if anything, they're just going to stand right here and try to throw over. And that goes for the flingers as well. This one gets flingers, so I added these straps on here. These two. So if they stand here, they'll get hit by that. And these have a 3-tile range, a 3x3 range. So it's good. It'll reach them. All right. That's just like base design, right? No constructor needed for that. It works by itself pretty well. Oh, actually, well, I'm not sure how B and I'm not sure how B and C will do since I've changed it. I haven't tried it yet. I just noticed that I should change it and did, but haven't ran it yet. If that makes sense. But we'll run it now. We'll run it now. And you're going to watch how it does. It does pretty well. Okay, and then while that also happens, since a lot of the waves I can just ignore and not do anything. So you place it here. Boom, it connects everything. Yeah, it excludes the corners. Oh, most of the corners. Okay, it only excludes 2 corners, I believe. Yeah. Okay, it only excludes 2 corners. It does kind of stick out on both ends. If I had stuff on that side as well, I think it would stick out like another 4 blocks, like that one is. This one I don't have to worry about at all. The enemies are low level and my traps are pretty high, so I don't necessarily have to worry. With areas like this one, I don't have to worry at all. Usually I don't have to worry about this one at all, but once it gets to a certain wave, there's a lot of enemies that throw, which is probably going to be pretty bad for it when it happens. That one I don't have to worry about anymore. They used to get flingers, but I built a little contraption down on the other side of this hill that kills them. I also block this since enemies from that one, that's like D or something, from D will walk down and around and go up and go all the way over here and try to go up that slope. I think to go up another slope to get up that other slope to, it's kind of weird. I have no idea why they wanted to get up there anyway. They wanted to take the long route, but I put traps and stuff so they couldn't. Alright, now see this? This will collect material by itself. You kind of just sit here. I don't have a lot of wood, as you can see. This one is, I think, is brick underneath it. Yeah. There's brick underneath it. There shouldn't be brick underneath it, but Wood is one of the materials that you get the most of. I'll show you my storage. Um, and as you can see, look at the connectivity. It connects to. I thought it connected only to a few of these arches, but it looks like it connects to like, all of them basically. I had stopped putting arches because I ran out of room to build stuff, which is a thing you could do if you guys don't know. My storage is all wood basically, and I don't collect a lot of wood from this, but I really do need materials. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running in the stone wood and not in any other one. But let's see. I think in the previous video I gave you a sort of guide on what to build what. Oh, I should just collect materials from up there. What am I trying to... I'm still got 300. So like with the north side, this is uh, essentially an overly simplified version of what could be. An actual trap tunnel example is probably going to be this one amplifier. So I'll give you a bit of the rundown with it. I would tell you now that although it does work, it's not the most efficient way to do it, right? Because enemies will come in here, they'll get stunned, they'll probably walk across this way and get pushed this way, and maybe not get pushed back. Some of them will, some of them won't, but it varies, right? And the point of this is just to stall them as much as possible. And if a smasher runs through here, they'll hit these walls. Hopefully, if they're running directly through, they might hit this wall or that wall, but that's fine. These wall launchers can stun them for a really short duration, which is cool. But this is not necessarily the ideal setup. Like I have this straight up for damage because I know a lot of smashers come through here, and I don't want to have to deal with them as much, right? You're probably gonna ask, well, why didn't you put tar pits? You slow them down, you can do more damage. You said it earlier. Well, I just thought of that right now, so I don't. Sorry, the laugh was all nasty. I was about to cough. Freaking cringe laugh. I was about to cough. It's funny though. But yeah, it's not one of the best examples of slopes. It's probably easier to show you in an actual scenario, or a better scenario, I guess. This is at 300 in there. So you could collect by 300, or you collect by 150. I'm collecting it. I collected it now, but I'd probably wait till it's 1,000. They only stack up to 1,000 of each material. I believe it takes like 40 seconds or so to collect 150. I think it's like around 45 seconds, like per 150 tick. So it only hit tick twice in the time I'd put it down, which doesn't really make sense. But I believe it's like 45, 50 seconds. I'm not too sure. That's just like a guess. Okay, I guess basically, yeah. I counted previously, but I don't think just sitting here 1, 2, 3 is a very accurate count. So I'm just gonna say like 50 seconds. But yeah, those are the revisions I made. I'm probably gonna go over here, actually, since I can give you some examples of, I guess, an objective, since there's enough space to do that in. So say this is your objective, right? And this is gonna apply to only atlases and atlases and retrieve data, stuff that's a single objective, takes up one tile. You could box it on top. So the idea would be you want to protect this one objective. I usually go with a little bit of pushback type defense. So what I'll do is I'll have ramps all around here, a ramp there and a ramp there. It doesn't have to be a ramp. It could be a ceiling tile that you could edit, and then it'll be that. And then you can put something under, you can put something over. I create this Z, and then I put traps. For high damage, I use my ceiling zapper, and for just kind of area damage, I use the ceiling electric. Since the ceiling zapper is a single target, and the ceiling electric is a multiple target, can hit multiple targets type. Type. I'm looking at the B on the map to see how well it's doing. A multiple target, type trap. Another thing I do, and that I figured out, is that you can put a trap like the wall darts on this one. I'm not going to place it because then I'm not even going to get the material back, so I'm sorry for that. But I need. You know what? Screw it. So you put a trap like this, right? And then, and what with mine, I have heels attached, and I have this for very specific reasons, right? And I'll tell you in a little bit. So the wall darts can shoot through this. Enemy comes up here, the wall dart will shoot through and hit the enemy. Same as the ceiling trap, the ceiling zapper. Ceiling zapper you place up here. It will also hit the enemy through the ramp, or cone tile, cone, edited cone ramp, rather cone ramp. And then I would put a floor launcher, right? The point is, I'd also add you'll see right now as well, I have floor spikes that have heels attached as well, just like my wall darts. So I am sacrificing a perk, which may mean I'm doing a little less damage with either trap, but it has its purpose. I'll put it here. I'm gonna craft one. It looks like he's doing fine. I was just worried about how it would do. So I would put it here. So now, this floor piece has a heals attached, which means if it takes damage, it will heal. It will heal. It'll heal. I'm just messing around. They'll heal. Right? You give it 10 seconds. It'll heal back to 870. See? Back to 870. Oh, that's the other one. It looked like it was for a second. But it should heal. Give it a second. It's shy. What a demonstration. Okay, it'll heal. It has heals attached on it. It has to heal or else. Okay, every second. Alright, yeah. And on the inside, on the inside, I have these wall spikes. Sorry, I have these wall spikes. They increase the building health by 17%. So if I put one down, boom, it's now at 1089. I did debate on whether getting a second wood floor spike, same same perks except for instead of heals attached, it has increased health, because I want to put them here, right on top of the trap that I don't want to break. As you're aware, there's enemies like the Sploder, or there's mission modifiers like exploding death bursts, and you want your base to have more health, and you want your base to be able to help you in a way. You know what I mean? You want your base to be able to heal over time. I know I'm gonna heal these myself. Don't laugh at me. They're supposed to heal. They're not healing. Don't know why. Okay, sorry. I'm watching the map as well for them to see how it does. But you can tell with the revisions, working pretty well. It's working pretty well, which is it's not necessarily surprising, but I'm glad it works. The surprise would be how it's not working well. Um, but always go in and build. Always go in thinking your build's gonna work. Have that confidence. uh, so yeah, I usually use this like Z method. With this wall having extra health, I was thinking of having floor spikes, putting that, giving it extra health, and this one you can't put anything on the underside, so it's fine. And these floor spikes, you would think that I want extra health, or want heals attached or something like that. But I kind of just sprung for an extra durability. I have a ton of durability on it. It's 77, but at 77 uses is pretty much a lot. What I also do is I like to put these two walls here and basically wall off every side just like this. If you can't, you don't have to. Always adjust to how you're going to use it. But for this example, I'm going to use just this corner. This applies to every corner, but I'm just using this corner as an example. So you put it here, and it's a 3x3 range, meaning that from this spot, 1, 2, 3, as far as I know, 3 is its range, and up as well as height is its range. So it could technically hit an enemy here, you can hit an enemy here, and you can have a trap here, and they'll both hit the enemy. You'll also have, this there, right here, on that one. Better to say like that on that one. And then for the insides, I put anti-airs. You don't have to put them in every corner, but you can put them in every corner. Okay, this is when I hear them spawn. I think they're throwing stuff, but I don't think they're throwing stuff, which is good. Okay. And on these walls, you can put, wall darts here and wall darts here. And any enemy that comes into, this spot will get hit by that wall dart on that wall. And any that comes to here will get hit by that one on that wall. And UFOs, which means I gotta watch out. UFOs are one of the ones that I can't just AFK. On the top, you can wall it. And this is where your constructor will place his base. I'm not going to place mine because I'm farming mats. But you'll put, your constructor's base here. And you can have 1 to 2 constructors. One being base Kyle, increased building health. Or you can have power base Kyle, which is heals any structure that is attached to the base. It's like 11% if you haven't main. Over 10 seconds. And okay, I gotta take that here. Okay, and as you're aware, these have heals attached. So, if you pair it with, let's say, if you pair it with, Power Base Kyle, who's also a sort of like heals structures that are attached to base character, and then you have that extra heals attached, which can really save you. And probably the better option is to have you and a friend both running constructor, one being base Kyle for the extra help and the other being power base Kyle for the build and repair. Now you could go even better and have another friend run Ice King, and what Ice King does is enemies that hit a wall or structure get frozen for, I think it's 3 seconds every I want to say 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds or so. That looks like a taker running off to the corner. Okay, but yeah, I would say like every 10 seconds they can get frozen again by Ice King. Ice King's a really good character to have. It's one of those characters that if you pair it with the other 2 constructors I mentioned, then you'll have a good time. You won't have to worry about your base too much. But it also depends what level and what other character or teammate you have. Because another teammate to have, potentially, or you can swap it for any other one. Like you run a constructor with, let's say, base health, and another teammate run Sub-Zero Zenith. You guys see my video on Sub-Zero Zenith? That's a crazy character to have defending your base as well. Because you can, freeze smashers potentially indefinitely, which is always really good. Those things like to mess your base up, so being able to kill them quickly or have them frozen and kill them is probably one of the best ways. Now, there are different ways to build a base. A base like this can work in a lot of situations. There are also different ways to handle Atlas missions. Like for Atlas missions, uh, sometimes I like to kind of just section it off like this. So this would be, oh crap, not that. But let's see. So let's say you know the enemy's gonna come from the west. You know they're gonna come from the north. One thing you can do is you can fortify all four corners. This, this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner, and rotate your ramps towards the base or towards the center. You know where the objective is. You can section them off, like I said, section them off like this. Have one in the center. Section them off like this, and you can do that to all four, or you don't have to. But what you could do is you could put any two variations of traps. Any two variations of trap. One being the electric field, or the ceiling drop. Electric ceiling field, I was gonna say. But so if you put a drop trap here, obviously the tires are gonna bounce, hit the slope, and the enemies and the tires are both gonna come this way. Okay, I think they're coming over towards me because they know that I'm over here, but they're gonna die to traps anyway. But yeah, the tires will drop. They'll bounce off this and bounce down, probably to about here. Which means that any enemies in like a 3-tile radius basically are gonna get swept by those tires. And sometimes you can get insta kills with a bunch of enemies. Sometimes you can not necessarily stop smashers or stun them, but they do get hit by it, and they do, they do get affected. And they don't bounce along just like the other enemies rather. Actually, I think they do. So we hit an enemy with it, like a smasher, let's say. I think he will bounce a little bit, but that's not a how do you say? It's not a guarantee that they'll do that, right? You only have one of these traps here, so it's not like, it's not like it's gonna go off multiple times, which means it'll give you that higher chance of doing that. But again, I do this method usually because I run a constructor that does one of the two, gives more health or repairs over time, and then I pair it with my traps that I have. You already know the traps I have. One increasing the health and the other healing it. And what I do for these corners instead, I'll put a ramp here. Let's say I know they're coming this way, so I'll put a ramp here. They'll probably not want to go there. It's too many structures. I think this is a taker coming at me. Yeah, it is. What the hell is it? Oh, it's right there. Okay. And you could have a ceiling electric. It will do damage to enemies, obviously. It can and could kill them. Usually I put a tar pit here and a tar pit here. Just so if you have an enemy like a smasher rush through here, he's going to get stopped by the tar pit. He's going to be slowed, and if he decides to rush again, he'll rush and he'll run up, but get stopped again. All these takers keep coming on me. Keep coming towards me. Why did I say that? You could put your base up top. It'll cover the whole thing still. You could pair it with another teammate's base, and you could have, one here and one here, or one here and one there, or one here, one there. It doesn't really matter. It'll still cover it. It'll still work. Yeah, for these ones I just put, I put tar pits. It does depend on their element. The traps in the ceiling don't matter since I've only listed 2 of them, 3 of them. But these traps will usually do, the best of damage to the enemies thus far. I know I have 2 different I was gonna say flavors of traps, the flame and the freeze. But that's for very specific missions, right? Because as you're aware, flame is gonna have it's gonna do less damage towards nature enemies, and and it'll do more. It also do less against the water, but actually it's the other way around. Fire will do more to nature, and nature won't do more to fire. Sorry. So so these ones I'll use for nature enemies to do more damage to them, and water I'll have to fire enemies. Or I'll just have on occasion just to freeze enemies, right? So you could put these freeze traps where I said I would put the tar pits, here and here, freeze any enemy that walks onto it. But the only problem with those freeze traps is that they activate once, they freeze whatever group of enemies are on that tile. So I can't put a floor here, but if one enemy would walk on this tile and it goes off, only that one enemy is going to freeze, and then the other enemies behind it can walk up past just like regular. So it's why I tend to use tar pits, since tar pits their durability use is kind of like the spike traps, right? It doesn't matter how many enemies are on it; it's still going to be used. It's still going to hit that enemy, and it'll still stop them. Like in the case of a smasher, if an enemy is standing on it and a smasher comes behind it, the smasher will get stuck in the tar pit as well. It's not like the floor freeze where it only affects that one tile at a time and whatever group of enemies on there. They broke a wall or something. It looks like, or maybe a trap in their durability, which is probably the more likely case. But yeah, tar pits are the way to go. Put a tar pit here. You put a tar pit here. Smash will run up, get stuck. Then you could have that up there, attack, like fall. Rather, if you have a ceiling trap, the ceiling drop, it'll fall, and you will get pushed back. Have to go back into it, get stuck, get pushed back. So you could keep it on a loop of getting stuck, but it also damages it, so you have a higher chance of it dying than it going through that repeating cycle of getting stuck. Um, Another thing I do is I will put sound walls here, sometimes here as well, on top of both of them. Um, and then I'll put a wall dart here, and a wall dart here. And if I need to, a wall dart here and a wall dart here. And then any enemy that stands in the center, or any enemy that comes into the range of the wall darts will get hit by it. Either will most likely die. I also put in this one a steel electric field. Sorry, I'm about to cough. Give me a sec. Oof, man, it sucks being sick, but it's okay. Uh, so yeah, you could put sound walls here. You could put sound walls here. You could put sound walls here. Um, I usually put drop traps, and the way I face drop traps is usually with that corner you see in the right corner of it. I usually try to face it going whatever direction the slope is going. So if the slope is going down, I try to place it in the right corner. See, but on a slope, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's just something that I've been accustomed to, something I kind of picked up on doing. There's an epic over there because apparently, again, I don't know if it's true or not, but the way you have that, the way you have, oh, it died. The way you have it, like set to and what direction it is the way the enemies will get knocked back. Just like the ice traps. I don't know if you guys heard as well. The ice traps, once an enemy is frozen and their freeze time is up, once they're unfrozen, they kind of get knocked back a little bit. And the way you place the ice traps is apparently the way they're going to get, knocked back. So if I place it like this, looking this way, when the enemy stands on here and freezes, he'll get stuck. And when he's unfrozen, he'll shift back a little bit. Right? And it may not be a whole lot of shift back, but it's a little bit, right? And so when when you're trying to defend something as best as you can, a little bit sometimes helps. Which is why I tend to place my drop traps, like while I'm on the slope, looking up towards where I want it. I guess where tires will drop, fall in here, enemies will get destroyed. That's what I want. So that's two methods on how to do that. Um, there's a bunch of other ways. I'm gonna have to break stuff actually. Um, if you have an objective like I have 8 structures, which means I'm running out of trap durability. um, so if you have a structure that takes up like a space of 2 by 2 all the way around, what is it? Like you evacuate the shelter or repair the shelter. I like to build up to and build structures for the enemies to walk up to, and then the walls on the bottom around the base, so you can build this on all 4 sides of an objective. See, just like this. It's too high, and that's the roof of the objective. This would be just a wall on the objective. Not a wall on the objective, but a wall above the objective. I'll place this. And obviously I'm going to put a ceiling drop right here. I'll usually push like a wall pusher, a wall launcher, sorry, a wall launcher. Or I have no structures, but I'll put a wall here at times. And a wall, let's say here. And that's only because if you put a wall launcher here and you don't have any walls behind you, the enemy's going to go flying all the way down. And you're good, right? The enemy will come back up. You'll have tar pits here, so it's really hard for them to climb. They'll take damage from this. But I've recently been changing it to where I've been putting a wall here, and putting a wall here, and I would put a sound wall here, a wall launcher here, and then a wall dart here, right? So once they get up to here, the wall launcher will push them off. They'll have to come back up the stairs. Another thing is, along the wall of the objective, I'll put wall launchers, right? The wall launchers, when they get to here, they'll get pushed back, want to go back up the stairs, or it's for enemies that don't want to go up the stairs, right? If they don't want to go up the stairs, they'll get pushed back, usually to around here. And there are times when the AI of the enemy would just be like, all right, cool, I'm going to go up the stairs, get pushed off either that direction or that direction, but still get hit by this, and or get hit by the wall dirt behind it, and still be forced to fall down, go back up. It's a repeating cycle. It works pretty well, but when it comes to enemies like mini bosses and stuff, it's a whole different ball game since they're random. You can get enemies that are ricochet, that have different modifiers they'll have on them, like ricochet, as I said earlier a little while ago. Ricochet, or they'll have smoke screen, or they'll be tank, and there'll be this and there'll be that. It's a wide variation of what, or they'll have damage pulse, which is one of the worst ones. One of the worst combination, in my opinion, is vortex, ricochet, and who's it? Vortex, ricochet, and smokescreen, and then have the enemy be a smasher as well, like a epic mini boss smasher. What are these guys doing up there? You seen them too? They want to come off. But yeah, an epic mini boss smasher that has those 3 modifiers is probably one of the worst things to deal with. I think there are a lot of other examples aside from the 2 I presented, but if you're gonna do retrieve datas or atlases, single atlases, and or repair the shelter, or evacuate the shelter, then that's one of the best ways I found, in my opinion, to find it. I did find both methods on YouTube already, like a long time ago. and they worked. I did revise them a little bit, not too much. They worked well, and I kept going with them. So, if you need them, I guess I'm sharing them now. I don't recall the creator who listed it. Uh, whoever creator may have come up with it. Thank you for coming up with it because I was pretty newbie back then. But I used them. I used them well, and now I'm offering it to those who come and watch my videos and see it. They can possibly use the same methods or similar methods, and hopefully get some missions done. Since sometimes it's hard and you don't know exactly what to build, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little bit. Um, and yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next time.